Agents are coming. Nobody's job is safe. Everybody is going to be forced to either be an entrepreneur or rely on UBI. That's kind of like as simple as it gets. Sure, you could imagine that there might be new jobs that are created, but they're definitely not going to be as valuable as the people who are just leveraging agents to actually provide direct economic value to the economy. Because everybody now has the capability to innovate, build crazy, powerful things by directly allocating their effort to the economy by leveraging agents. This is what everybody should be focusing on. If you're just going to be the person who says, oh, I'm going to wait for the new jobs that come out, or, oh, I'm going to just accept UBI and just live on that forever, you're going to definitely be one of those people that looks at everybody else who accelerated with the technology, and you're like, oh, damn, this person literally like owns an entire planet. Like everybody's Elon Musk owning Mars and owning other planets, and I'm just sitting here accepting the UBI. I opted out of the economy, and I'm not accelerating with the changes. Therefore, I'm not in a good position in the future. That is the most likely outcome if you don't actually take initiative, take responsibility over your own decision making, over your own life, and commit to accelerating with the technology. So that is what this video is all about. How can all of us maximize our individual positions in the future to ensure that we have access to the best technologies in the future, and to ensure that we are also playing in the upper levels of society in the future. We don't want to just be the people who are sitting here on UBI or just doing some arbitrary job that comes out in the future, because all of the economically valuable jobs are automated. So we're just over here like making pots out of our hand with our hands or something like that. I think most people would prefer if they did some type of high leverage work where they deploy a bunch of AI that automates some part of the economy, and that puts them in a very good position for the future. I think it's very easy to assume that everybody would, or most people, not everybody, but most people would rather do that and get to experience the best outcomes of life, maximize the level of your personal character. If you're to use a video game analogy, you want to maximize your human experience, maximize the capabilities of your personal character so that you can experience the future. Like that's all I want to do. That's why I'm making this YouTube channel, and I want to help you guys do the same. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how can we do that, my personal strategy on how I'm doing that. Hopefully by me sharing my personal strategy, you can get some insights from what I'm doing. And I think what's holding a lot of people back is they're just not used to the paradigm that we're entering. We're entering this paradigm of abundance, where there is an abundance of labor, there's an abundance of intelligence, and it's ready, it's on tap to use right now, but most people just aren't thinking grand enough, or aren't thinking at the scale to how they should be leveraging this technology. Most people are thinking in today's paradigm, what can I automate today? Nobody's thinking about, okay, how can I work on something that is innovative to maximize my first mover advantage in that position. So today we're going to talk about some categories that you could be focusing on that are innovative future categories, so that you can not just make something that is arbitrarily valuable today and will soon be automated. You can make something that is going to be improved with this technology, not replaced with this technology. That's very, very important to be doing right now, because 90% of people are directly competing with like OpenAI or Anthropic by creating like software applications or making large language model wrappers. There's so many different things that people are doing like right now, like even like automation agencies. You're indirectly competing with OpenAI, and I'll explain exactly how in just a few seconds why I think that's a terrible idea. And I'll explain again some of the things that I'm doing, and hopefully you can get some insights from that. So just a quick recap of what's in the pipeline. OpenAI is currently demonstrating their super agents for the federal government to get approval of when they can launch these things. But also Trump just passed a bill that says they don't need to do that anymore. They don't have to ask the government, just launch the dang thing, which I think is a good idea, actually. We need to keep this technology moving forward. So that's number one. Number two, Dario Amodei recently had an interview. I'll just let the clip roll.
We are planning this year in 2025 to build something that we call the virtual collaborator. And the idea is that would be an agent that operates on your computer, on a computer, might operate at work, and you can give it tasks. You can say, write this feature for this app, and it'll write some code, it'll compile the code, it'll check the code, it'll talk to its coworkers on Slack or on Google Docs, right, or on some other platform. It'll check in with you to see how to see how the task is progressing.
As you can see, you basically will have like a valuable employee that can effectively work with your teammates and make decisions and actually execute things in your company. And then last one, we have Mark Zuckerberg.
Probably in 2025, we at Meta, as well as the other companies that are basically working on this, are going to have an AI that can effectively be a sort of mid-level engineer that you have at your company that can write code. And once you have that, then in the beginning it'll be really expensive to run, and then you can get it to be more efficient. And then over time we'll get to the point where a lot of the code in our apps and including the AI that we generate is actually going to be built by AI engineers instead of people engineers.
Which again, same thing that Dario's saying, same thing that Sam Altman's saying. By 6 months from now, we're probably going to have we're all going to have like these engineers in our back pockets, these highly intelligent, highly autonomous agents, engineers that can pretty much complete any tasks we so desire. Anything we can think of, anything that is on a computer that is cutting edge, you now have the capability of creating or designing or building that thing. Or even if it's not on a computer, there's examples of people creating literally entire fusers with just Claude, the old version of Claude, not even the new version of Claude. So this kid literally just built in his kitchen a fuser, like a nuclear fuser, which is insane. Obviously, it doesn't put out a lot of energy because it's very small, and we don't have the science and technology to do that quite yet at that scale. But this stuff is, we're now capable of doing these things. We all are capable of very, very impressive things just by being creative and leveraging this technology. So there's no longer any intellectual moats, and there's no longer any product moats. The moats are simply, how creative can I be? Can I leverage psychological moats? Because those will still exist, like cognitive biases or first mover advantage or the 22 immutable laws of marketing. Those will continue to exist. But any type of product moat or intellectual moats are dwindling at the pace of AI acceleration. As these models get better, there is no more alpha in intellectual spaces, or there's no more alpha within the spaces of product design or development at all. So what that really means is we all have these 10x engineer capabilities, and all you have to do is just approach this large language model or the AI and say, I don't know a lot about this topic, but I hear it's doing really good, like it's growing really fast. Simply like go on Google Trends, see what ideas are taking off right now, or do a little bit of research on some innovative technologies that are coming out. You can do some research on Kathy Wood's Arc Invest. She has a lot of insights as to what technologies are disruptive and innovative. Those are areas that you can focus on, and you actually have capabilities there now with this AI. So now the moats are simply psychological, a little bit of financial, but mainly the moats are, how creative can I be? How can I learn more about this just a little bit? You don't have to learn all of it. You have an engineer in your back pocket. How can I learn enough, just enough to deploy an engineer to help me build something that is somewhat competitive in this space? And then you can start to develop an MVP, maybe raise some capital, and then go on from there. And MVP and capital, you don't even have to do, depending on the sector that you're innovating within. Obviously, if you're doing like something in robotics, that's not going to be very cheap. If you're doing something in like Web3 or crypto, that's going to be much, much, much cheaper, because the only cost would really be hiring an engineer, but you already have one that's $20 per month. Ta-da. So really the only thing keeping you back right now is literally believing in yourself, like genuinely. The only difference between like you and Sam Altman, you and Mark Zuckerberg, you and Elon Musk, you and Sundar, the only thing that is different between you and them is you just don't have the self-belief. That is simply it. You're both human. The only difference is your paradigm of thinking, the pattern at which you operate within, the way you approach things, and your mindset around them. They have very abundance frames of mind. They realize that the current paradigm of living is already somewhat hyper abundant. Like we have so much abundance right now. And They literally just realize that and take actions. They know that the world is their oyster. They can do anything. They're a human. They have capabilities, and they just do it. The only thing that separates you from them is simply your mindset, which is most people's mindset is, well, like, why would people choose mine? Or what makes me qualified for this? Well, for one, everybody's qualified for it now. You have AI. You don't technically nobody's ever qualified for anything. You just start, and in the process of doing, you learn. And while you're learning, you gain wisdom. And as you gain wisdom, you gain dollars because you are now effective enough at the thing to gain money itself. You cannot be good without doing. You cannot start and expect to win instantly. You have to try and fail. You cannot do anything without failing first. Failing is a prerequisite for success. If you are not failing, you are not winning. If you ask Elon Musk in his beginnings of SpaceX, whenever he failed with the rocket launches the first 5 times, everybody said, oh, he's just failing and failing and failing. It's not going to work. But what Elon saw wasn't failure. He saw progress. And on that 6th launch, he made history on that single day. The first ever private company got a rocket into orbit. And that is all that mattered, is the progress that he made and not giving up. As long as you do not quit, you cannot lose. And that is the beautiful thing about entrepreneurship. It is the most, at the root of it, it is the process of progress, the process of making yourself as an individual, your personal video game character, better and maxing out all of your stats. It is an endless art of chasing an impossible perfection that doesn't exist. But the closer you get, the more satisfied you are, because the more hyperabundance you have for yourself and your family, the more leverage you have, the better experiences you have in life. You can now access experiences that most people never have access to. And the only thing keeping them from accessing those experiences is simply their state of mind. How can they operate in the same way as you? Because if they did, they would have the same thing. That's the question you should be asking yourself. How can you operate at the level of these entrepreneurs who are worth billions of dollars? Because there is no laws of physics that says you can't. The only thing that's telling you you can't is literally your brain. So now that you're a little bit more motivated, let's look into some trends here. So here is Kathy Wood's ARK Invest analysis of 2024. This is an area of disruptive technology that I think we should all be focusing on. We have 3D printing, reusable rockets, adaptive robots, advanced batteries, autonomous mobility, cloud computing, AI, intelligent devices, multi-omic technology, precision therapies, programmable biology, digital wallets, smart contracts, and cryptocurrencies. So my suggestion to you is to look at your wallet and say, okay, how much money do I have? And look at these opportunity vehicles and look at how much money do they cost to start. And whichever one your wallet matches the best, research that one and do it. It's not as difficult as it sounds. It sounds extremely hard, but as long as you can, this is one of my problems with school, is school programs you to ask to go to the bathroom. But in life, you don't ask to do anything. You just do it. I guess if you do work a 9 to 5 and you're used to working a 9 to 5, certain things you do have to ask to do. But whenever you have to be self-reliant, you cannot ask to do things. You just must have the agency, the self-autonomy to just do the thing itself. So I think it's very, like, the biggest challenge that this paradigm shift is going to have is everybody's going to have to learn how to be a more autonomous human. Most humans do not have very much autonomy. Most people are like ChatGPT. You go to it and it only responds whenever you ask it a question, or it only responds whenever you prompt it to. Unfortunately, that's how most people have been designed to be via formal education. We're all going to have to be autonomous and then find different categories like the ones that I'm showing you here and allocate our attention, allocate our intellect. And you don't even have to do that much intellect anymore because we have that automated too. Just allocate your attention to trying to understand these things at a very rudimentary level and just using your imagination and looking at other industries, looking at other places, cross-pollinate the ideas, and then maybe you can come up with some form of an idea from there. In future YouTube videos, I do plan on diving a bit deeper into precise strategies that you could be taking to help you find those ideas, or to help you use some mental frameworks to find high leverage opportunity vehicles. But for now, I recommend just like working on your agency if you're not used to that. If you are somebody who's used to that and you are an entrepreneur, you probably already understand everything that I'm trying to get to here, and you're going to look at this list and you're just going to say, okay, this guy has an idea of what's going on. He understands that this technology does basically just give us all very high levels of capability, and the people who don't maximize the capabilities that they have will not be in the best positions in the future. So do something that's innovative. We all have the capability to do so. The only thing that's limiting you from doing it is your paradigm of the reality that we don't live in anymore. Reality, by the way, the bottleneck of reality is being relieved every few months. Every few months we get a better model, which literally relieves the bottleneck of what is physically possible for you every 3 months. And in a distant future, you're going to be capable of doing things that are seemingly insane to yourself. And it might sound very crazy today to say something like, oh, you could build like a nuclear fusion reactor, but somebody's already doing it. Literally a college kid that doesn't know anything about engineering. That was his first ever hardware project, built a nuclear fusion reactor, as I showed you earlier in the video. So you can already do these things. So again, here are some categories to look at. Obviously, we have crypto. That's personally a place that I'm looking in because it's just a very high leverage position for myself, given my past strengths, my past experiences of building marketing agencies and then building online communities in the past. If you don't know, I used to have a marketing agency that I scaled from 0 to like 30 plus clients within 6 months. At that point, we were making upwards of $500,000 per year. And then I decided to sell all the secrets, and I had a premium community that was also doing pretty well. But now I completely pivoted away from that, and I started doing AI YouTube because I saw that this is going to be a very high leverage place to allocate my attention. And that's what brings me here today, which is why I'm giving you this information. So nonetheless, if this was all helpful for you, if this inspired you, if this motivated you, and you want to start building and innovating with this technology and maximizing your position in the future by leveraging this simple technology called artificial intelligence, I do recommend you join my community linked below. It is $7 per month. It is super cheap intentionally. The only reason we have any price tag is just to keep out people who aren't that interested and keep in people who are actually interested. We want it to be a very high quality place that is also as free as possible, but also doesn't get annoying with a bunch of people just like not giving a shit and not trying. So that being said, if that interests you, click the link below and join.